Self-belief. So there's a man named Ivan Joseph who is a soccer coach at a university, and there's always people who want to come and play at the university. So the parents will come and be like, "You got to have my kid come. You got to let them sign up for your soccer program. They're great." And he goes, "Okay, well, what do they have? What could they bring to the team?" And they go, "My kid's got a great left foot," or "My kid's got amazing speed. They're so fast. They're so good at soccer." And so they're trying to convince this coach to allow their kid to sign up for the team. And the coach says, "That's okay." And they say, "Well, what are you really looking for?" And he says, "Self-confidence." See, because through repetition, Dr. Ivan can teach a person how to kick a ball better. He can help a person to increase their speed. But it's very difficult to teach the skill of self-confidence. Self-confidence is synonymous with self-belief, which is what we'll be talking about today. So the theme is self-belief. It is to be confident in oneself. To be confident in oneself is to believe in oneself, specifically in your abilities to overcome whatever obstacle comes in your way, to do whatever it is you set out to do. That is self-confidence, self-belief. Can you see why that would be important to a coach? When you're in the middle of war, on the gridiron, the battlefield of a soccer game, and the other team is pummeling you with all of their best players, and you're fighting back with all of your best players, at a certain point, it doesn't come down to skill anymore. It becomes a mental game. Wouldn't you agree? It comes down to who really wants it, who really believes. And when a player doesn't have self-belief, then what happens is when the going gets tough, they get going and they want to leave. They're done. They check out. Have you ever seen a person try to play sports, competitive sports, with a lack of self-belief, and then things start going wrong, and they're ready to give up on the whole situation? They're like, "You know what? This isn't for me. I shouldn't even have signed up for this. I got other things I want to do." They get angry. They can feel upset when they do something wrong. They easily give up. He wants to win games. If he wants to win games, he needs players who believe in themselves. They believe in their ability to overcome things. And which, by the way, as a coach, you have to correct people. And it's hard to correct people when they have low self-esteem. When they don't believe in themselves in the first place, it's kind of hard to let them know, "Hey, I need you to correct your stance. I need you to kick it a little bit more like this or like that," because the more you criticize them, for them, it's like you're tearing them down. They don't have self-belief in the first place. So how are they going to take your criticism in a constructive manner? But this isn't about soccer players. This is about the warriors of life. This is about you. You must make no mistake. Life is a battlefield, and we are at war. And in the warfare that's happening all around us in the energy realm, do you believe in yourself? To be able to overcome all odds, everything that is against you? Do you believe in your ability to do what it is you set out to do? Preparation can help us to feel more confident, right? If we practice something, if we do something again and again and again and again, thousands of times, that can help us to feel a sense of confidence. In fact, you may actually have confidence when you think about it around the things that you've done a lot. There may be things at work that are your expertise, your profession, and you're like, "When I do this, I have confidence." It might be things at home, domestically, when it comes to the cooking or it comes to the cleaning. You have confidence in that. You're like, "This is what I do." That's self-belief. And because you've done it a lot of times, because you have the repetition, you have the self-belief, but you might not know how to translate that to other areas of your life, especially areas where you don't have a lot of experience. And I need you to do that. You need you to do that. It's important that you go through life with self-belief, otherwise you won't get very far. Your self-confidence is like the fuel for your engine. and you're driving uphill. Speaking of uphill, you remember the story that I told you about when I had to climb a mountain quite literally in search of my girlfriend? Despite everyone in the local area telling me, we don't know her, she doesn't live here. There's no reason for you to come back. And I came back the next day, which wasn't easy because you have to drive the mountain terrain in this rented truck that I had gotten, and that you could just fall off the edge of the cliff, or you could get stuck somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. I'm not talking about nowhere, United States. I was somewhere in the far-flung, distant part of Asia where I don't even speak the language. But what kept driving me? What kept driving me? That belief, that self-confidence, that determination. It was essential, and it's what eventually led to the success of my operation. You remember that story? In life, we're all scaling a mountain to get somewhere. Some of us have built a cabin at the bottom of the mountain, and we're like, no, I'm just going to hide down here. I don't want to scale the mountain. But if you base your life on just trying to stay safe and keep it simple, then now you're worried about the avalanches and the mudslides and the robbers and the marauders, and you're worried about all the things that are going to go wrong, that are going to take away your peace, that are going to take away your safety, because you're trying to stay safe. But ultimately what it really is that you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in your ability to overcome adverse circumstances, to do things even when you've never done them before. That's the type of self-belief you need. The ability to do things that you've never... Now, how do you have self-belief to be able to do things you've never done before? Well, this is where we need delusion. We need a little bit of delusional confidence. Is that healthy? It's the only thing that will keep us healthy. If you don't know how to harness the power of delusional self-confidence, you will face difficulty again and again and again, and you will fail to overcome because you don't know how to harness delusional confidence. That's what I'm going to teach you tonight, how to harness delusional self-confidence. But you have to understand, this is a life skill. It is not a want, it is a need. You want to talk about healing from trauma? This is what you've been lacking. This is the reason why the trauma keeps you in the traumatized state and you don't progress and you're not growing as fast as you want to, is because you're lacking in your ability to harness the power of delusion to your own advantage. So do you want to know the secrets? Well, we're going to have to get out of whatever's holding you back. So a lot of people say, well, you know, it would be easy for me to have self-confidence if I had been raised to have self-confidence, but I wasn't raised to have self-confidence. You don't understand. My parents tore me down. And if that's the case for you, I'm so sorry to hear that. But this is the time of reparenting. This is not the time of staying back into what our parents made us into, because what are we, 16 still? No, we're 26 now. We're 36 now. We're 46 now. We're 56 now. We're 66 now, right? So at this point in our lives, we no longer want to live according to the maladaptive program of the parents. Now it's time for us to pick the program that's going to work for us. And here's your program: delusional self-confidence, delusional self-belief. That's the program that's going to work for you. That's what's going to help you. So my question to you is why? This is the first thing you have to identify. How is it going to help? I'm serious. Write in the chat. Tell me, why would it help you? How would it help you to have delusional self-confidence, delusional self-belief, to truly believe in yourself? What would be some of the benefits in your life? How could this actually help your life? What do you imagine it could actually bring? What would it do for you to have total self-confidence that is unbreakable, unshakable, unchangeable by the outside world and all of the negativity? What would it do for you? I'm waiting. It would help you to learn new skills. Yes. It'd help you to feel motivated and inspired. Yes. It would build up your internal locus of power. Correct. You'll be able to create things. Correct. You'll be able to be more successful. Correct. You'll be able to travel alone. Correct. Because the alternative yields no good results. Correct. You'd be able to live the true self. Correct. What other people say to you wouldn't matter anymore. Correct. Are you convinced that it's better for you to have delusional self-confidence instead of the delusion you're carrying? Yes, I said the delusion you're carrying. Because what happens to many people is, including possibly yourself, is you give into negative self-talk so that you can further the delusion that you are not amazing, that you are not great, that you are not worthy. Right? You go in the store, you try on pants, and then you go, "Oh, I'm so fat." Negative self-talk. Would you talk to your daughter like that? Is that what you would say to her when she puts on pants? Yeah, I guess so, if you're a narcissistic mother. And maybe that's why you're doing it. Maybe you're repeating the voice of your narcissistic mother. Maybe that's why you talk to yourself like that. Some of us think that when we are negative to ourselves, we're really motivating ourselves. And that's the idea we have from our childhood, either because our parents did that or it worked for us a few times. We just get really down on ourselves, right? One guy called it his inner drill sergeant. And we just abuse the self, right? You're stupid. Why are you so stupid? You get one thing wrong or you didn't know something. Oh, you're such an idiot. And you're talking to you. So you feel like this isn't a crime. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just talking to me, guys. Don't worry. I was just talking to myself. Still self-abuse, still completely toxic. Is that clear? It has to stop. You're undermining your ability to have self-confidence. And we've already talked about why it would be beneficial to have self-confidence. The only thing that makes sense to adopt is delusional self-confidence. What you have is delusional lack of belief. You have delusional self-detriment. Like, I choose to believe that I'm not beautiful. Well, how's that going to help me? I choose to believe that I'm not capable, that I can't do whatever it is I put my mind to. I choose to believe, and we think it's going to protect us. That's why we do it. We're like, well, I'm going to tell myself it before someone else does. It's a strategy that may have worked for you in your childhood to get through the abusive environments, to get you past bullying. It's not going to work for the real world. It's not working. Look at the results of being negative to yourself, of not loving yourself. To love yourself, to care for yourself, is to speak positive to the self, consciously, on purpose. You are beautiful. You can do it. You are capable. I believe in you. Both are a delusion. Either way, you're giving yourself a delusion. If you say you're not worthy, that's a delusion. It's not really true. It's just a story you're making up. So when you say I am worthy, I can do it, it is possible, what you're doing is also basically a delusion in the sense that it doesn't already exist, but it's the best kind of delusion because it's a fantasy, it's a dream, and you are about to make it exist. Because when I'm scaling up the mountain, it doesn't already exist that I've already found her, but it exists in my mind that I will find her. And then it becomes a reality out here in this lower realm. Because what you're accessing here with the mind is the higher realm. Everything started with the thought first. It was first, let there be light, and then there was light. It wasn't like light came and then thought came. No. It always starts in the thought first. And if you don't learn to tap into that, you're going to get left behind. This is why scientists are baffled. They don't know how to become a spiritual person. Recognize that the spirit is higher than the physical. And if you don't learn to operate in the spirit realm, then you're not a mover, you're not a shaker, you're not a creator, and you're just reacting. You're going to live your life like this. Oh, God. Oh, no, something bad's going to happen. You're not going to create anything great for yourself or anyone else. But when you live with confidence, with belief, with determination, then you can go out and you can actually make something incredible happen. And yes, delusional self-confidence. One of the most common things that's Googled is Roman Zanoni credentials. Don't think I don't see it. What makes this guy think he can do this? The same thing. It made me think that I could direct a movie with no professional movie directing experience. Remember, I was coming off of being a missionary in South America, and then I decided I want to make a movie when I get back to the States. So I started working on a script. Type. I looked up software. You read some things, you watch some YouTube videos. How hard could it be? Delusional self-confidence, right? So I create a script, and now I have a script done. Was it perfect? No. We were on the set, and it still had spelling mistakes and like grammatical errors in it. I didn't wait for perfect. I went for done. We got a script, don't we? Let's go. When I'm standing on the set, there's a full cast and crew. How did this happen? I don't have time to think about that. You know why? Because I have an entire cast and crew, and day after day, we have to have a list of shots that has to be done. So during the daytime, I'm running this cast and crew, and at nighttime, I'm working on the shot list for the next day. We got to wake up the next day and the next day and the next day, and we got to do this. There was nearly 100 people involved in the creation of that film under my command. Prior experience, professional, zero. I'd never had 100-person cast and crew before. I, of course, had experience in that since I've been 13. I have been working on this, right? I put hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of effort into learning the craft, but this is the first time I ever brought it to fruition. What it required was not a degree in filmmaking. It's not about the outward credential like I need someone else to tell me I can do it. It's about the inward belief that I can do it. And then I did it. And then it came true. And then the world changed because now the film exists. And prior, it didn't. We altered the physical reality by starting in the mental. Does that make sense? So the self-belief thing that I'm telling you about, this is not something I was born with, okay? This is not something that you were not born with. This is a skill that you develop. I don't care if you develop it when you're 6 or you develop it when you're 66. It's a skill. Are you ready to learn how to develop the skill? Step number 1, you need to focus on what the benefits are of having delusional self-confidence and self-belief. Step number 2, you need to work off of the theory that you can succeed. What I'm doing when I'm scaling the mountain is I'm looking at all of the possibilities that exist in the universe, such as that I could die, I could fall off the mountain, I could get killed, I could get robbed, I could get kidnapped, I could be held for ransom, right? I'm taking all of the potential possibilities that could happen, and I'm cherry picking one possibility. And the one possibility is I could successfully find her and get back home safely. Do you see what I did? Again, you're operating off of the theory that you can succeed. So I'm looking at all of your future is just comprised of a whole bunch of possibilities, right? What someone who's in self-detriment does is they cherry pick the one really bad one and they go, this is what I'm going to focus on. Everything's going to go wrong. Well, with that, you don't have belief, you don't have confidence, you can't move forward, you can't accomplish anything in your life, you will not be successful. And that's a promise. That's how the universe is built. You will have nothing. And Jesus said, he who has nothing, even what he has will be taken away from him. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. That is a lose-lose situation. So what I am teaching you is instead of grabbing the worst case scenario, since this is already delusional, grab the best case scenario and say, okay, here we go. Now I'm going to operate off of the theory that I could potentially be successful. Okay, with that being the case, what do you naturally do? Well, now you plan and plot the steps of how to be successful. This is how I know to start creating the shot list for tomorrow, because I asked myself, if this really could happen and I really could get this film done with absolutely no money and a total lack of experience and without the support of my wife, if I could get this done, how would it look? And it's like, well, I would show up every morning with a shot list and I would already know, or that's how I know what to do, because I'm going into the positive possibilities. And so it's the same thing when I started working and creating Mind, which started as coaching and therapy and is now trauma recovery. And the very first woman that I healed from CPTSD, or that I assisted in healing, is Charlotte. Some of you know Charlotte. I had to meet with her once a week, and she came to all the meetings. She applied everything I suggested. But being that at that point, I hadn't healed anyone prior, it required that I operated with the theory that I could be successful based on the research that I had done up until that point. Does that make sense? So we start with focusing on the benefits of why it would be beneficial to believe in ourselves. Then we operate on the theory that we could be successful, cherry picking the best possible possibility. And then from then on, we only accept the supporting evidence of said belief. We only accept the supporting evidence of said belief. We accept nothing else. In other words, you have to become pig-headed determination. Okay? Do you understand what I mean when I say pig-headed? This means like, kind of like how narcissists are, where they don't accept anything against their gaslit version of reality. You adopt that skill and you apply it to yourself as a good guy. They use it for evil. You use it for good. You say, you know what? I'm going to save this young girl from the well. I don't accept any other option, any other possibility. I am going to do this good work. Right? And then you move forward, bam, 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 and you do it. And you don't accept anything else. Here's a philosophy that will help you tremendously. It'll completely alter everything for you in your universe and in your view of life. You have to understand that there is no failure until you give up. The reason I knew I would be successful in finding the young lady is because I was not going to give up in finding the young lady. So something was gonna give. That's how determined you have to be. Oh, I'm not going to fail because I'm not going to give up. So something has to give here in the universe. And that's exactly what happens. Things start to give. And you start catching breaks. Like the moment when I was on the set and I didn't have enough money to go on and the film wasn't done. And I realized if I were to press on any further, then I wasn't going to be able to pay the main person in the crew who I was renting the camera from. And so I went up to him and said, you know what? I'm looking at everything and I'm not going to be able to finish paying your fees. We're going to have to shut down production. I just don't have enough money. And then he looked at me and he said, I don't want you to have to shut down production. Why don't you just pay me on the back end? I caught a break. It shifted. The universe shifted for me. It gave way for me. But how? It was only by me getting to this point where I got an entire cast and crew and half a movie done. And he's standing right there that we get that break. You don't get the break when you're sitting at home like, I'm just waiting for my big break. That's not how it comes. It's not how the universe works, right? You catch the break through your pig-headed determination. So when I showed back up to that mountain and the tribe at the bottom of the mountain saw me and they're like, you're going up again? I thought we told you not to come back here. And I'm like, guess I'm going up again. They gave me the guy with the dirt bike and he helped me get up to the mountain. And I came back down off of that mountain. They said, hey, look, you keep coming back here. We need to see some ID. We need to know what the heck is going on with this story. And they sat me down. The entire tribe came out. They were all there. There must have been like nearly 100 people standing outside. They're all surrounding me. And I'm sitting there explaining my story. They're like, hey, look, we just we want to help you. We'll get the government involved. We got to figure out what's going on with your situation. You keep coming back here. And I'm like, yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. You've been so accommodating. I got nothing but love for you. I'm just looking. I got to figure out what's going on. And they helped me. And sure enough, within 24 hours of that situation, now I had a whole tribe mobilized. We found her. We found her within 24 hours of that situation. How did I do that? Focused on the benefit. If only if I believe could it come true. I theorized that I could succeed and cherry pick the best possible case scenario. I refused to give up, even in the face of really convincing evidence that I was wrong. And by the way, I was wrong. She didn't live on the mountain. She lived somewhere else. But even in the face of very convincing evidence, I refuse to give up my belief that I will succeed. I will get the film done. I can heal a trauma survivor. I can... See this couch right here? Do you like my couch? You know when you order a couch, it takes a few days for it to come? So I ordered this couch and took several days for the delivery people to come. When they finally brought the delivery people, and you got to spend so much money on the couch. This is all I had. And I'm waiting for this couch to come. The delivery people show up. They get the couch up on the elevator. They get it to my apartment, and they can't get it in the door. It's just the way my apartment's situated, kind of in a corner. It's like a crook here. They couldn't get it in. They tried, they twisted it, they flipped it, they turned it, and they couldn't get this couch into my house. It wouldn't fit in the doorway. And I could already hear one of the guys start preparing me for the worst. He said, we're not going to be able to get that couch in here. We'll work on building the desk or whatever, but it's not going to happen with that couch. And so they came in and started working on building the desk, which is another piece of furniture that I had ordered. But when this guy told me that he wasn't going to be able to do it, according to step number 3, what did I do? What do your notes say? According to step number 3, what did I have to do when he told me we're not going to be able to get your couch in? He said, we're just going to have to... You either have to sign and we can leave in the hallway for you at the best, but we're just going to have to take it back with us, put it back on our truck, and you have to order a new couch that's going to fit. The couch you want is not going to fit, and you're correct. It's don't give up. It's not accept any evidence that goes against what I believe. So I simply did not accept what he was saying. I knew this type of man. I've run into this type of man before in my life. This is the type of man who easily gives up on things. Who gives up, and that's failure. He guarantees failure for himself. When things are difficult, he gives up on things. He doesn't like that this is difficult. He doesn't like that he doesn't know how we're going to get this couch in here. I didn't know how we were going to get the couch in here either, but I wasn't giving up. As a result of being someone who easily gives up on things, you don't do well in your job, you don't do well in your career, you don't progress in your life, you don't do well in your relationships. Everything will crumble. I know what type of man this is, and I do not accept his ideology. I hated that I had to be even exposed to this ideology at this moment, but I refused to give up my belief. And so I wouldn't argue with them. What I would do when they would tell me after flipping the couch 3 or 4 times that they're not going to get the couch in, I would just stroke my chin like this. And offer another suggestion if I had one. At one point, I was running around the building trying to find a key to a storage unit that's next to my apartment, because we thought maybe if we open the storage unit, we can open that door and that will create some more wiggle room to get the couch in at the right angle, because at the angle that it's coming in, we just couldn't get the couch through the door. And finally, the universe gave a little bit for me because I wouldn't give. And a man walks up who's the owner of the storage unit that I was trying to get open. And he says, hey, I just came up because I heard that you guys are trying to get my storage unit open. I don't understand why you need to get that open to get a couch in. And then he saw the workers and he said to the workers, hey, do you work for the such and such furniture company? And they said, yeah. He said, oh, I work for that company too in the sales department. And he says, yeah, we run into this situation sometimes. And he looks at the door and he says, what if you take the hinges off the door? And we all look at it, and I'm like, let's try it. I'm busting out screwdrivers, and we take the hinges off the door frame. And sure enough, with enough maneuvering, we're able to get the couch in. Doesn't it look beautiful? That's what no compromise looks like. That's what self-belief looks like. You wouldn't think when you see that little piece sitting back there that it was really that hard. But the reality is things that really seem so simple, that seem like they should be easy, things come difficult in life. They come with sacrifice and sweat. They come through your self-belief, your determination, your faith that the best possible possibility could come true. And so now I pass this on to you. It's a secret of the universe, but it's all right there for you. Focus on the benefits. Theorize that you can succeed. Only accept the supporting evidence. And then you'll be someone like who the coach would want on a soccer team, because they have something that can't easily be taught, but it is a skill that you can learn. You can teach it to yourself. Self-confidence. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do with it.